Greetings to you and welcome to the Society of Radio Theatre, brought to you by Playful Fox Productions. We're so glad you could join us for our presentation of The Shop Around the Corner. The story you are about to hear is adapted from the 1940 MGM picture of the same name, originally starring Margaret Sullivan, James Stewart, and Frank Morgan. The screenplay for the film was itself based on the 1937 Hungarian film Parfumerie by Miklós László. If neither of these titles ring a bell, perhaps you know its more recent adaptations, like the 1963 Broadway musical She Loves Me, and the film You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. In fact, did you know, in the 1998 film, in a nod to today's title, one of the protagonists owns a bookstore named The Shop Around the Corner? The play has an air of goodwill to it, a gay mood of laughter and romance. It's a story of a little group of people who work together in a certain little shop around the corner, a kind of world in itself, where there's a share of good and bad luck for everyone. And now, the magic of radio brings you The Shop Around the Corner. The firm of Matuschek & Company, Novelties and Leather Goods, has been doing business in the same location for 35 years. It's not a large store, nor is it small. Its merchandise is not cheap, nor is it expensive. This is just an ordinary, everyday shop, and its clerks are ordinary, everyday people. At 8:55 each morning, they stand behind the counters, dusting the goods and gossiping. At 9 sharp, they snap quickly to attention as Mr. Matuschek enters the front door and in a ringing voice delivers his first order of the day.
Joey!
Yes, Mr. Matuschek?
Joey, run across the street and get me some bicarbonate of soda.
Yes, Mr. Matuschek.
Good morning, Lily.
Good morning, Mr. Matuschek.
Good morning, Miss Baker.
Morning, Mr. Matuschek.
Good morning, Mr. Peters.
Good morning, Mr. Matuschek.
Good morning, Mr. Harvey.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Matuschek.
Good morning, Mr. Martin.
Oh, morning, sir.
I'd like to see you in a few minutes on a very important matter.
Yes, sir. Any time you say.
Well, Martin, it won't be long now.
And what do you mean?
Well, I hear you had dinner with Mr. Matuschek and his wife last night.
Oh, that. Yes.
And now this morning he wants to see you about something important. You'll be the manager pretty soon.
I don't know. Say, Peters.
Hmm?
You want to hear something nice?
Huh? You're not a manager yet?
Oh, no, of course not. It's a letter from a girl.
Oh, a girl.
Yeah, listen to this. My heart was trembling as I walked into the post office, and there you were, lying in box 237. I took out your envelope and read you right there. Oh, my dear friend.
What is all this?
Well, you see, I was looking through the ads in the Sunday paper, and I ran across one that said, here, I'll show you. See?
Modern girl wishes to correspond on cultural subjects, anonymously, with intelligent, sympathetic young man.
That's me.
Address, dear friend, box 237. Oh, I know these ads. The papers are full of them. How long's this been going on?
Well, we've exchanged 4 letters. And Peters, she's no ordinary girl. Just listen. Here on page 8, she says, hold on. Oh, here. Are you tall or short? Are your eyes brown or blue? Don't tell me. What does it matter? So long as our minds meet.
You're right. That's beautiful.
Yes, it is. And then she says, look, there are so many great and beautiful things to discuss in this world of ours. I'd be wasting these precious moments if we told each other the vulgar details of how we earn our daily bread. I agree with you when you say, she means me, of course. What are men and women for but to rise above the stupid necessities of the 8-hour day?
Mm-hmm. You said that?
Well, sure. You see...
Martin!
Yes, Mr. Matuschek.
Martin, I can get 5 dozen more of these cigarette boxes from Nichols Brothers. What do you think of it? I think it's great. You see, you open it up like this.
No, Mr. Matuschek, that's not for us.
Hey, you haven't even listened to it yet. It plays Ochi Chironi.
Well, even if it played Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, I'd still say no. I don't like the whole idea.
It's wonderful how quickly you can make up your mind. I've been in this business for 35 years and it took me a whole hour to decide that I like it. But I guess you're a genius. Harvey?
Yes, Mr. Matuschek?
Listen, what do you think of this? Look. I want your honest opinion. Don't let me influence you. Hear that? That's a very popular classic. Well, Miss Baker?
I think people who smoke cigarettes and who love to hear Ochicharone will like it.
Harvey, what do you think?
I'd even go further. I think it'll make music lovers out of cigarette smokers and cigarette smokers out of music lovers. I think it's sensational.
Well, Mr. Martin?
I still think it's terrible.
Give me one reason.
All right. Let's say a man smokes 20 cigarettes a day. So he opens the box 20 times, and 20 times he has to listen to Ochicharone. And besides that, it's imitation leather and cheap glue. In 2 weeks, the whole thing will come apart, and all you have left is Ochicharone.
I know it. I know it's imitation leather. You don't have to tell me. You just sell things and let me do the buying.
Excuse me, Mr. Matuschek? Nichols brothers are on the phone.
I'll take it here.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Nichols? This is Matuschek. Cancel the rest of those cigarette boxes. They're terrible.
Well, good morning, madam.
Good morning.
Anything I can do for you? We're having a sale on purses today.
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't want to buy anything.
Oh, well, that's perfectly all right. If you want to look around, just make yourself at home.
Thank you. I wonder if I could see Mr. Matuschek?
Mr. Matuschek is very busy at the moment, but if you tell me what you wanted, I'm sure I could take care of you.
Well, I noticed in the window that you're having a summer sale.
Oh, yes, madam. Everything's reduced 25%.
Really? That's wonderful. I guess you'll do a big business.
Oh, there's no question about it. We'll probably have such a big rush we won't be able to take care of the customers.
Well, then you ought to have some extra help.
Well, you probably will.
In that case, maybe you can use me. I'm looking for a job.
You? I'm sorry, what's the idea of letting me go through this whole routine then,
I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to. Do you think you could help me get a job here?
I wish I could, but there isn't a chance.
But you just told me you need some extra help because of the rush.
Look around for yourself. You can see what kind of business we're doing. Every half an hour, a customer rushes in.
Oh, listen, I've had a lot of experience.
Yeah, but I know the situation here.
I worked for 2 years at Blake & Company, and I left of my own accord. And before that, I was with Blayton Brothers for 10 months.
Now listen, ma'am, if it were up to me, I'd put you to work, but I'm not the boss, so...
Then why don't you let me see him?
Because he's in a very bad mood today.
I'll take the chance. Maybe I can cheer him up.
Listen, madam, I've been here 9 years. I know Mr. Matuschek inside and out. I know exactly what his attitude would be. I can tell you word for word exactly what he'd say.
Mr. Martin, come here.
You see what you've done?
Sorry.
Mr. Martin?
Yeah. Coming, Mr. Matuschek.
So, Mr. Martin, you know every reaction of mine, eh? You know exactly what I think, even before I think it. You're not only a genius, you're a mind reader.
But Mr. Matuschek, I didn't...
Never mind now. I'll take care of this customer.
Mr. Matuschek,
Quiet! Good morning, madam. I'm Mr. Matuschek.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Matuschek.
Please have a seat.
Thank you. Mr. Matuschek, I was at Blake & Company
I'm sure you'll find much nicer things in our shop.
No. I mean, I worked there. I'm looking for a job.
A job? You mean... Oh, no. That's impossible. It's out of the question. Good day.
Oh, but Mr. Matuschek...
I have no time. I'm very busy.
Mr. Matuschek, please. I've got to have a job. And I'm good. I know merchandise. Really, I do. Please just give me a chance.
Oh, so you know merchandise. Let me ask you something. Would you buy a box like this? Well...
Well, I couldn't buy anything at the moment.
No. I just wanted your opinion. Your honest opinion. Do you like it?
Oh, yes, I do. It's marvelous.
Why?
I think it's romantic.
Romantic? What's romantic about it?
Oh, well, cigarettes and music. I don't know. It makes me think of moonlight and cigarettes and music.
There, Martin. There's the woman's point of view.
Mr. Matuschek, she's very clearly...
How much are you selling it for?
Well, I'd say you're $4.25.
Oh, that's a bargain. That's a real bargain.
Oh, that's a candy box, isn't it?
No, madam, it's
Yes, madam. Yes, madam, that's a candy box, and I would say a very unusual one.
Yes, I like it. How much is it?
Oh, watch, madam. It has a very distinctive feature.
Well,
You see?
is that coming out of this?
Yes, madam, yes. It's Ochicharoni, a very popular classic.
Oh no, that will never do. Where do people get ideas like that? Can you imagine? Every time you take a piece of candy, you have to listen to that song. Oh no.
Oh, no, madam, wait. Wait, please. I know just what you mean, madam. And yet, you see, some of our customers like it for the very thing you object to. Now, there's no denying we all have a weakness for candy. And when I say weakness, I don't mean to say anything against candy. I only mean we're inclined to overdo it a little.
That's true, I suppose.
Now, for instance, madam, have you any idea how many pieces of candy you eat a day?
Well, no, I never gave it a thought, but I am taking on weight.
Well, that's just it. We pick up a piece of candy absentmindedly, and then we take another piece, and before we realize it, we've, gained a pound or two.
Don't I know it?
Now, you see, this little box makes you candy conscious. That's what Matuschek and Company designed it for. So every time you open it, this little song is a message to you, see? Too much candy. Now be careful.
Well, how much is it?
$5.50 reduced from $6.95. A real bargain.
I'll take it. You can wrap it up while I look at these purses.
Well, Mr. Matuschek?
What's your name, young lady?
Smith. Karen Smith.
Miss Smith, you may report for work tomorrow morning.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Martin here will show you the ropes.
Yes, of course.
Or perhaps you can show him.
Help the needy, Christmas dinners for the needy.
You're late this morning, Martin.
No, it's only 10 up.
Morning, Martin. Hello, Peters.
Hello.
Morning, Mr. Harvey. Oh, say, Martin, can you come to the house tonight?
No, I'm sorry, Peters. I have a big dinner date, actually, tonight.
Oh, with the boss again.
No. I mean, he doesn't actually invite me anymore. See, how do you figure him out?
Well, I give up. It's certainly difficult to get along with him these days.
He hardly talks to me anymore.
Do you know what I think? I think he's having trouble with his wife.
Who is? Matuschek?
Well, I wasn't talking to you, Harvey.
You said Matuschek was having trouble with his wife?
I didn't say that at all. I only said...
Never mind, Peters. Go on, Harvey. You got work to do. Right?
Sure. We all have.
I don't like that fellow.
Say we better get this counter dusted before Matuschek gets here.
I'll do it, Martin.
No, we'll both do it. Say, Peters.
Mm-hmm?
You mind if I ask you a personal question?
No, go ahead.
Now, this is very confidential. But suppose a fellow like me wants to get married.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Who's the girl?
Just listen, I only said suppose. Now look, how much does it cost you to live? Just you and Mrs. Peters, leaving out the children.
Well, why fool yourself?
All right. Well, let's say temporarily. How much does it cost?
It can be done, and very nicely. Naturally, you can't be extravagant.
Okay, how about this? Suppose a fellow took a 3-room apartment. Kitchen, living room, bedroom. Where do you eat?
In the kitchen. You get a nice big kitchen.
All right, then where do you entertain?
Entertain? What are you, an ambassador? Listen, if someone is really your friend, he comes after dinner.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Miss Smith.
Morning.
Morning.
Oh, Miss Smith.
Yes, Mr. Martin?
I noticed you wore a yellow blouse with light green dots yesterday, and
As usual, you're mistaken, Mr. Martin. It was a green blouse with light yellow dots, and everybody else thought it was very becoming.
Now listen,
And I don't remember that I ever remarked on your neckties. And believe me, Mr. Martin, if you think I couldn't say anything about them, just ask Mr. Harvey. So please, leave my blouse alone. It's none of your business.
Well, I'm sorry, but Mr. Matuschek seems to think it is my business.
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm working under you. Mm-hmm. Well, from now on, Mr. Martin, I'll telephone you every morning and describe just what I'm going to wear. And before I select my next season's wardrobe, my dressmaker will submit samples to you. Oh, imagine you dictating what I should wear.
Now you get this straight. I don't give a damn what you wear. If you want to look like a pony in a circus, that's fine by me. But I have troubles of my own with your blouse coming between Mr. Matuschek and myself.
Look, I sold as much goods yesterday as anybody in the place. $95 isn't bad for a rainy Friday 3 weeks before Christmas. Did you tell that to Mr. Matuschek?
I did.
And what did he say?
He said tell him not to come in that blouse anymore.
Well, tell him I won't.
I will. What was I saying, Peters?
About your girl. Who is she, Martin?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, remember that girl I was corresponding with?
Oh, yes, about the cultural subjects.
Yeah, well, after a while we came to the subject of love. Naturally, on a very cultural level. You know, Peters, she's the most marvelous girl in the world.
Is she pretty?
She has such ideals, Peter. She's so far above the girls you meet today. There's simply no comparison.
I see. So she's not pretty.
Oh, what's the difference? As a matter of fact, I don't know whether she is or not. You see, I haven't met her yet.
You haven't?
No, I keep postponing it. I'm scared, Peters. See, this girl thinks I'm the most wonderful person in the world, and after all, there's a chance she might be disappointed.
Yes, there is a chance. On the other hand, you might be disappointed yourself.
No, never. I'm as sure as that as I am my own name. Peters, I'm meeting her. Tonight, for dinner.
Where?
A restaurant on 8th Street.
Ah, I suppose you're going to wear a red carnation, huh?
Yes, I am. And she's going to have one as a bookmark and a copy of Tolstoy's Anna Karenina. Gee, you know, I haven't even slept for days.
What's her name?
I don't even know that. I just call her Dear Friend or Dear Box 237.
Oh, dear Box 237. Oh, I'm sure she'll be beautiful.
Oh, not too beautiful, Peters. What chance would there be for a fellow like me?
What do you want? A homely girl?
No, not good for just a lovely average girl. That's all I want.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Matuschek.
Morning, Mr. Matuschek.
Good morning, Mr. Matuschek.
Good morning, Mr. Matuschek.
Just want to tell you, our window looks terrible. There isn't a store on the street that doesn't look better. It's a wonder we get any customers. Everybody will have to stay the night to redecorate.
Stay. Tonight, of all nights.
There goes your date with Box 237.
Yep. Hand me those belts, Joey, will you? Belong up here on the shelf.
Okay. Say, Mr. Martin, do you think I have to work tonight too? After all, I'm a child.
No, you don't have to stay tonight, Joey.
No kidding?
I'll straighten out Mr. Matuschek.
Aw, gee, thanks.
May I help you, Mr. Martin?
No, thank you, Miss Smith.
It's no trouble at all. I'd like to. Yesterday, I put all the imported bags on the shelf over there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the way you wanted it, Mr. Martin?
Yeah.
I'm so glad you like it. If there's anything wrong, I'd appreciate it if you'd tell me.
Since when are you so interested in my idea of what's right or wrong, Miss Smith?
Well, I like to please you, Mr. Martin. After all, I'm working under you.
You know, you don't have to keep harping on that.
I don't mean it that way at all. Regardless of what I think of you personally, I believe that anybody who works with you and doesn't get a great deal out of it is just dumb.
Okay, just what do you mean by that? What do you think of me personally?
Well, since you asked, I'd say no matter what can be said against you, I think you're a gentleman.
Well, I try to be.
Mr. Martin, you don't realize what that means to a working girl. What a girl has to go through in some shops. Well, for instance, when I worked at Boot & Brothers and Sons, well, the Sons were all right, but the Brothers... And that's why I like it here. You see, when you say, Miss Smith, let's go into the stockroom and put some belts on the shelf, you really want to put some belts on the shelf. And that's my idea of a gentleman.
Well, I just don't believe in mixing belts with pleasure. You know, this is the first time you've shown a little sense. Maybe there's hope for you after all.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Oh, I almost forgot. Would it be possible, Mr. Martin, do you think you could spare me tonight? Then maybe Mr. Matuschek would let me off.
Oh, I see. So that's why I'm a gentleman. That's why you learned so much from me all of a sudden. Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
You just want to get off early, right?
I have to, Mr. Martin.
Well, you're out of luck. What a cheap trick that was, and I nearly fell for it too.
Mr. Martin, I have to get off tonight. It's terribly important.
For 6 months, you've done everything you could to antagonize me, and now you have the nerve to come
Well, you haven't been very nice to me. No matter what I do, it's wrong. If I wrap a package, it's not the right way. If I make a suggestion, and some of them are very good, you don't even listen. Everything has to be done exactly your way, and even then you don't like it. When I came into this place, I was full of life and enthusiasm, and, well, now I'm nothing. You've taken all my personality away. But let me tell you something. Any day now, I may be in a position where I won't have to work anymore. And Mr. Martin, I'll really tell you then what I think of you. Mr. Martin, I don't like you.
Karen? Karen, what's the matter?
You won't let me off. I've got to get away early tonight. I've just got to. I have a date. The most important thing that has ever happened to me in all my life.
I know. The boy you told me about. What was his name?
That's what makes it so awful. I don't even know his name. I just call him Box 237.
In a moment, you'll hear Act 2 of The Shop Around the Corner. Outside of the Society of Radio Theatre, Playful Fox Productions is proud to present its 2024 onstage season filled with tales of life, love, and family. Coming in March, dive into the vibrant world of Avonlea with Anne of Green Gables the musical. In April, experience the power of hope and friendship in The Shawshank Redemption. In May, embark on a mesmerizing journey with Anya as she seeks to uncover her royal lineage and destiny in Anastasia the musical. In July, plunge into the enchanting undersea adventure of The Little Mermaid. In August, step into the magical land of Narnia in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. In September, savor the dark, witty tale of revenge, madness, and meat pies in Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. In October, do the time warp once again with the Rocky Horror Show. Just announced for November, experience a heartwarming story of sisterhood, magic, and discovering the true meaning of love in Frozen Jr. And prepare to be captivated this December with a spellbinding production that promises to be the highlight of Playful Fox's season. Stay tuned for the grand reveal. All the details for these shows and more, including audition details coming soon, can be found on all Playful Fox social media accounts, including Facebook and Instagram. And now we return with Act 2 of The Shop Around the Corner. It's later the same day. Mr. Matuschek's temperature has risen with each passing hour, for 6 of his employees have asked for the evening off. Now Martin is the unlucky 7th, and Mr. Matuschek hits the boiling point.
Do you mean that you want the evening off too, Martin?
Well, yes, Mr. Matuschek.
What is this? Does everybody want to leave? Once a year I ask you to stay here.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Matuschek. If I'd only known yesterday, I could have...
I see. You want a special invitation. Next time, I'll send you an engraved announcement.
Mr. Matuschek, this is the first time in years that I've asked a favor. As a matter of fact, I think you're being unjust.
I'm being unjust. Once a year, I ask 7 ladies and gentlemen, 7, mind you, when next door, a shop twice as big as mine employs only 4. And, good afternoon, madam. Is there anything I can show you?
Oh, hi. Do you have any traveling bags for men? Oh, with a zipper?
Oh, yes, madam, yes. We have every type of traveling bag with a zipper.
Thank you so much. I'm just doing a little window shopping for my husband. He'll be here tomorrow.
I'd be delighted to serve your husband.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
7 ladies and gentlemen, I ask one day in a year to be so kind as to redecorate a window, and you have the nerve, Mr. Martin, the oldest employee in the place, who should set an example.
What did I do? The whole week you've treated me like this without any reason whatsoever.
Without any reason? Maybe I have more reason than you think.
It's obvious now you're not satisfied with me.
You can draw your own conclusion.
In that case, only one thing to do. Maybe we better call it a day.
Maybe we'd better. Miss Baker will see that you get your check.
Thank you.
Mr. Matuschek, there's someone on your private phone.
I'll take it in my office. Hello?
Mr. Matuschek,
Yes?
this is the Kane Detective Agency. We have that information about your wife.
Oh, well, don't tell me on the phone. Come over to my shop, please.
What time, Mr. Matuschek?
Oh, well, come now, please. I'll be waiting. Mr. Peters?
Yes, Mr. Matuschek?
Tell everyone they may go home. We'll do the windows tomorrow. Sit down, please.
Thank you.
Well, it's true about my wife?
I'm afraid so, Mr. Matuschek. Now here we have the complete record from our operatives, 2 of our most reliable men.
Go on.
Report on Mrs. Emma Matuschek. On December 6th, Mrs. Matuschek left her apartment at 8:45. She walked 2 blocks up to 10th Street. There, Mrs. Matuschek was joined by a young man.
A young man.
Yes, your suspicions were correct, Mr. Matuschek. The man was one of your own employees.
I know. He's been to my house for dinner. He's been working for me almost 10 years.
10 years? That's funny. Our report says only 4.
Martin has been here 10 years in January.
Martin? But the young man your wife met is named Harvey.
What's that?
Francis W. Harvey, 464 Hill Street.
Oh, then I see. Let me have that report, please.
Yes, sir.
22 years we've been married. 22 years I was proud of my wife. Well, she didn't want to grow old with me. If you'll send me your bill, I'll take care of it immediately.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is this the restaurant where you were going to meet her?
Yeah. Go ahead, Peters. Go on in.
Well, why don't you go in? I really think you should keep your date.
No, I haven't got the heart. Not after what happened today. I was gonna get married. I hadn't even got a job, Peters. Listen, do me a favor and just deliver my note, please.
All right.
And Peters?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to know what she looks like. I mean, if she's homely, I got enough bad news for one day, right? And if she's lovely, it'll make it so much more difficult. So don't tell me.
Oh, I won't. Now, what's the name of that book again?
Anna Karenina. And a red carnation as a bookmark.
Well, wait. Maybe I'd better take a look in the window first. You stand over that way, out of sight.
Well, do you see her?
No, not yet. Oh, say, there's a beautiful girl.
Really?
Very beautiful, but no book.
Oh.
There's another girl, but wait a minute. I think I see the book. Right here underneath the window. Yes. Anna Karenina by Tolstoy. Oh, and a carnation.
Go on.
Huh? I can't see her face. She's sitting behind that rack. Oh, wait. There's a cup of coffee on the table. She's taking a piece of cake. Martin, she's dunking.
Well, why shouldn't she?
All right. She's leaning forward now, Martin. Oh.
Can you see her?
Yes, I see her.
Is she... Peters, is she pretty?
Very pretty.
Oh, she is, huh?
Yes. I'd say she looks...
Yes?
She has a little of the colouring of...
Yes?
Of Karen.
Karen? You mean Karen Smith? Miss Smith in the store?
Now, Martin. You'll have to admit that Karen is a good-looking girl. And personally, I've always found her a very likeable girl.
Oh, this is a fine time to be talking about Miss Smith.
Well, if you don't like Miss Smith, I can tell you right now you're not going to like this girl either.
What? Why?
Because it is Miss Smith.
What? No, it can't be. Peter,
look for yourself.
Where? Miss Smith, I don't... What? Oh my God. Oh, this is horrible. Here, give me that note.
What are you going to do? Let that poor girl wait in there?
Well, why shouldn't Miss Smith wait? She's fought for me for like 6 months every day.
But still, she wrote those letters.
Well, that was my misfortune.
Well, I'm going back to the shop. I've got some things to do. Goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye, Peters.
Excuse me, miss. Can I take this chair?
Oh, no, don't please. I'm expecting somebody, waiter. He'll be here any minute.
Okay. Red carnation, huh?
Yeah.
2 nights ago, we had a case with roses. Turned out very nice. Very nice. But once, about 3 months ago, we had a sad case. She waited all night, and nobody came.
Oh, really? She must have felt terrible.
Well, that's life, you know. You have to expect things like that.
Yeah, of course you... Oh, waiter, isn't your clock a little fast? My watch says only 8:27.
Ah, listen. You got nothing to worry about. A pretty girl like you, if he doesn't come, I'll put on a carnation myself.
Hello, Miss Smith.
Good evening, Mr. Martin.
It's quite a coincidence. I had an appointment here myself. You haven't seen Mr. Peters by any chance, have you?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I guess I'll wait. You don't mind if I sit down here, do you?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do mind.
Well, what's the matter?
Oh, please, Mr. Martin, will you go to some other table? I have an appointment, too.
Oh, really? I see. Oh, who are you meeting?
Now, please don't be sarcastic. I realize you've had a bad day, Mr. Martin, and you probably feel very bitter.
Bitter? By leaving Matuschek Company? Listen, I could have a job like that.
Oh, well, if that's the case, there's no use wasting sympathy on you. Good night, Mr. Martin.
Listen, you don't have to feel sorry for me.
Mr. Martin, I said good night, please.
Well, what are you so nervous about?
I'm not nervous. Do I look nervous?
I should say you do.
Well, I'm not.
You just knocked over the water.
Well, that was just an accident.
Here, I'll mop it up for you.
Mr. Martin, will you
It's
please?
no trouble at all. There. That's better. Oh, I see you're reading Tolstoy's Anna Karenina, right?
Yes. Anything against it?
No, not at all. Never expected to meet you in a cafe with Tolstoy. I didn't know you went for high literature.
Well, there are a lot of things you don't know about me, Mr. Martin.
Yes. There are a lot of things you don't know about me, Miss Smith. You know, people seldom go to the trouble of scratching the surface of things to find out the inward truth.
Mr. Martin, I wouldn't care to scratch your surface, because I know exactly what I'd find. A handbag instead of a heart, a suitcase instead of a soul, and instead of intellect, a cigarette lighter that doesn't work.
Oh, that's very well put, comparing my intellect with a cigarette lighter that doesn't work. Why, it's such an interesting mixture of poetry and meanness.
Meanness?
Well, now, don't misunderstand me, Miss Smith. I was just on the verge of paying you a compliment.
Oh, please, Mr. Martin, I told you I was expecting somebody.
Well, that's all right. As soon as he comes, I'll leave.
Look, Mr. Martin, I'd better warn you. This person is jealous.
Oh!
Very jealous. And if you insist on staying here, I will not be responsible for anything that may happen. I hope you understand what I mean.
Sure. Listen, just in case your party doesn't show up, would if he should stand you up or something.
Oh, don't worry about that. This party will show up.
Ah, well, so he came, huh? Well, you have a menu, sir.
No.
I told you not to worry.
But
a pretty girl like her.
Waiter, this is not the gentleman I was expecting.
Oh. No?
No. And I don't want him sitting here at all. Would you please ask him to take some other table?
What's the idea, mister?
All right. Is the next table over here taken?
Nope.
Then I'll sit over there. Cup of coffee, if you please.
I'm sorry, miss.
It's all right. Just as long as he doesn't sit at my table.
And I'll keep an eye out for that carnation.
Thanks.
Tell me, have you read Zola's Madame Bovary?
Madame Bovary is not by Zola. Would you please go away?
Now look, Miss Smith,
What are you trying to do? Ruin my evening? What have I ever done to you? Why do you hate me so?
I don't hate you.
Oh, I suppose you love me.
Well, why should I? What have you ever done to make me love you?
I don't want you to love me.
Well, I don't. You know what that song reminds me of?
Yes, thank you. 24 unsold cigarette boxes.
No, you're wrong again. Reminds me of a girl who was looking for a job. Very nice girl, I thought.
Really? How you've changed.
That was before you began to make fun of me. Giving imitations of me in the locker room. And I want to take this opportunity, Miss Smith, to inform you that I am not bow-legged.
Aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Well, I have information to the contrary. Mr. Harvey told me you have your trousers specially made.
And that's a lie. I've never been to a tailor in my life. And if you think I'm bow-legged, Miss Smith, you can come out to the sidewalk with me and I'll pull up my trouser legs.
Don't you dare.
And how would you like it if I made remarks about your hands being red?
Well, that's exactly what you did yesterday.
Yes, after you made fun of my legs.
And they aren't red at all.
No, not anymore after I called your attention to them. And let me tell you something else, Miss Smith. You may have beautiful thoughts, but you certainly hide them. So as far as your actions are concerned, you're cold and snippy like an old maid, and you have an awful tough time trying to make a man fall in love with you.
Mr. Martin, you're getting funnier every minute. I could show you a few letters that might open your eyes. Or maybe not. No, you probably wouldn't understand what's in them. They're written by a type of man so far above you that it's ridiculous. I have to laugh when I think of you calling me an old maid. You! Why, you little insignificant clerk!
All right, that does it. Goodbye, Anna Karenina.
Goodbye!
Martin, wait. Martin!
Peters? What's the matter? What's wrong?
I just went to the shop. They took Mr. Matuschek away in an ambulance.
What?
He tried to commit suicide.
Mr. Matuschek? Are you all right?
I think I will be. Sit down, Martin. And I want to thank you for coming.
Oh, no, sir. As soon as I heard, I ran over
Martin, do you remember when you were at my house for dinner the last time? I told you if things go well, I might take it easier, and maybe by Christmas make you manager of the shop. Well, now I have to take it easier. Would you care to work for me again after...
Mr. Matuschek, don't even think about it. That's all over.
Is it possible that I ever distrusted you, Martin? I hated you. I couldn't stand your presence anymore. That's how far jealousy can drive a man.
Jealousy? I don't know what you mean, sir.
When I first got that anonymous letter, I laughed at it. My wife having secret rendezvous with one of my employees. But you can't throw a letter like that away. It stays with you. Every word.
But how could you suspect me?
I know now that it was Harvey. But you see, you were the only one from the shop who came to my home. You sent flowers to my wife.
Well, I was only doing it
You don't have to tell me. But once this poison gets into your mind, please try to understand.
Sure. I understand, sir.
Martin, here are the keys to Matuschek and Company.
Thank you. What do I do about Harvey?
Harvey? I want him very quietly dismissed.
Quietly dismissed. Yes, sir. I'll take care of him, Mr. Matuschek.
What do you mean I'm fired?
Do you hear me? Get out!
Don't push! Don't push!
Go on, beat it!
What right do you got to fire me anyway? Does Mr. Matuschek know about this?
Mr. Matuschek has nothing to do with this, Harvey. I'm your manager now, and I don't want you working here anymore.
Oh, so you're the manager. How do I know you're the manager? Prove it. Show it to me in black and white.
So you want it in black and white, do you? Well, you're gonna get it in black and blue.
Oh, yeah? Well, how do you like this?
I'll murder you, you son of a...
I'll show you.
You two-timing piece of...
Mr. Harvey!
Martin, stop.
They're killing each other.
What's going on?
Martin, you've knocked him out.
Peters, you enjoy throwing him out of here. Come on, get to it.
I got his legs.
Peters, the back way and do it quietly. Mr. Matuschek doesn't want any fuss. Miss Smith, you wait here.
Watch his head, Joey.
Why? He wouldn't feel it.
Well, Miss Smith, I suppose you're kind of surprised to see me back, huh?
Well, naturally, I'm glad you have your job again. Congratulations.
Miss Baker tells me you weren't feeling well this morning.
That's all right, thank you.
You look worn out. Anything go wrong last night?
I tell you I'm all right. Where's Mr. Matuschek? I want to see him.
Well, he's right here. I'm Mr. Matuschek.
Oh, Mr. Martin, don't make any jokes, not today. And if you have to pick on me, just make it some other time. I want to talk to Mr. Matuschek.
Would it really be so terrible if I were the boss and you had to talk to me?
Will you please stop it? My nerves are at the breaking point.
Miss Smith, I'm simply trying to tell you that...
Haven't you any heart at all? Can't you see I'm sick? I can hardly see straight. The room, everything is turning around. In this state of mind, I ask you a simple question instead of having any consideration for me. You deliberately try to frighten me. Now stop it.
Martin, I didn't have any chance to say it before. Congratulations.
For what, Mr. Peters?
Well, don't you know? Martin's the manager.
Martin, the man...
Miss Smith!
She's fainted.
Peters, get the water quick! Hurry!
Water!
Hurry it up! Karen, are you all right? Oh, darling, would you just please look at me? Karen, you poor kid. Darling, would you just... Karen!
What happened?
Oh, nothing much, Cat. Miss Smith, you just fainted.
We'll bring you Act 3 of The Shop Around the Corner in just a moment. The Society of Radio Theater is proud to bring you quality entertainment throughout 2024, where you choose the venue. Now, while we have previously announced our slate of shows for the year, we will be making 2 changes for our April and December radio productions. In April, venture into the stormy moors of passion and vengeance with Wuthering Heights, a timeless tale of love that transcends life and death. This production celebrates the 85th anniversary of the title's most famous adaptation, starring Laurence Olivier and Merle Oberon. Auditions for this online production open today, February 14th, 2024, and will close on March 1st, 2024. Details will be posted on the Playful Fox social media accounts. For June, set sail for adventure on the high seas with Treasure Island, where buried treasure and treacherous pirates await at every turn. In August, join Phileas Fogg on a thrilling race against time as he attempts to circumnavigate the globe and around the world in 80 days. Come October, dive into mystery with Sherlock Holmes and the Case of the Haunted Chateau, where supernatural fears meet the sharp mind of the world's greatest detective. And now for December, rediscover the magic of the holiday season with Miracle on 34th Street, a heartwarming story that proves believing can lead to the most miraculous outcomes. We hope you will join us either behind the microphone or from your home for another production from the Society of Radio Theater. And now, the curtain rises on the 3rd act of The Shop Around the Corner. Karen Smith has had no further letters from her unknown admirer, Box 237. This misfortune, combined with Martin's appointment as manager, has proved too much for her, so she is taken to her bed with a bad case of nerves. Now, she has a visitor, none other than Mr. Martin, alias Box 237.
Good evening, Miss Smith.
Good evening.
Well, I hope you'll forgive the intrusion. How are you?
I'm all right.
You know, Christmas is coming soon, Miss Smith, and we'll all miss a good worker like you, so you better get well. You see, I feel sort of responsible for this whole thing.
You? Oh, no, it wasn't your fault at all. No, there's a much bigger reason, unfortunately.
Miss Smith, don't you think we ought to call a doctor for you?
Oh, no, I don't need a doctor. My trouble is purely psychological. But it's my personal problem, and I'll come out of it.
Well, I'm sorry. It's a real damn shame you have to go through all this, but As long as it's only psychological,
Only
Miss Smith.
psychological? Mr. Martin, really? Well, it's true we're in the same room, but we are not on the same planet.
Miss Smith, I must admire your way of expressing yourself. You certainly know how to put a man in his planet.
Karen, dear.
Yes, Grandma?
Look, darling, I sent down to the post office.
Oh, Grandma, tell me, was there a letter?
Here, darling, it's a fat one, too.
Oh, Mr. Martin, it was kind of you to drop in, but I don't want to spoil your evening.
Oh, no, I've lots of time. Go ahead. Read your letter.
If you don't mind.
Certainly not.
Oh, I forgot to take care of the messenger boy. Will you excuse me, Mr. Martin?
Oh, certainly, yeah. Good news?
Very good news, Mr. Martin. I'm sure I'll be back to the shop tomorrow, and I can promise you I'll sell more goods than I ever sold before.
Oh, it's fine. It's just fine. It's amazing what one little letter can do.
You know, if I weren't feeling so wonderful right now, I'd be pretty sore at you.
And me? Why?
You really spoiled my date last night. You see, this gentleman came to the cafe and looked into the window and saw us together, and, well, he misunderstood.
Oh, I see. You mean he thought you and I were friends?
He must have.
Oh.
Listen to this. Tell me and be frank. Who was that very attractive young man? He's just the type women fall for. Now, isn't that marvelous?
Yes, marvelous. I'm very sorry I caused you so much trouble, Miss Smith.
Oh, no, I'll straighten that out. Let him be a little jealous. It won't hurt him.
You know, he doesn't seem to be much of a man, though. I mean, he's afraid to come to a table because another man is there.
Oh, he was not afraid.
No?
Oh, he's just tactful and sensitive.
Oh!
Oh, he's not the kind of man who would sit at a table uninvited. No, you see, it's difficult to explain a man like him to a man like you. Why, where you'd say black, he'd say white. Or you say ugly, he says beautiful. And where you'd say old maid, he says, well, here, listen. Eyes that sparkle with fire and mystery. Vivacious. Fascinating. He says I make him think of gypsy music.
Hey, he's pretty smart.
Oh, and speaking of gypsy music, we're still having some difficulty selling those Ocitroni boxes, aren't we?
Oh, that doesn't matter.
Mr. Martin, consider one box definitely sold. Oh, I just got an inspiration. I'm gonna give it to my friend for Christmas.
Oh, no, don't do that.
What?
You're taking an awful chance. Look, why don't you give him a wallet? I know he'd be crazy about it, and we have those new imported pigskins.
Oh, no, I'm not interested.
Look, I'll make you a special price.
No, I'm sorry.
And another thing, Miss Smith, a wallet is not only practical, it's downright romantic. You know, on one side he carries your last letter, on the other side your picture. When he opens it, he finds you, and that's all the music he wants.
Why, Mr. Martin? You surprise me. Well, that's very well expressed. Oh, yes, I admit that's very nice.
Well, thank you.
No, just the same. He's gonna get the cigarette box.
Oh, boy.
Help the needy. Christmas dinners for the needy. Every bit helps.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Matuschek.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, officer.
I haven't seen you for quite a while.
Yes, I'm supposed to be pretty sick, but it's Christmas Eve and I just couldn't stand it any longer. I'm going in to help.
Well, take it easy, Mr. Matuschek. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, look, Mabel. Do you think Howie would like that briefcase?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Pardon me. I can't see very well without my glasses. Can you tell me how much that briefcase is?
$12.50.
Only $12.50? Well, you certainly get exceptional values here. I wonder how Matuschek and Company does it.
Well, if you don't know Mr. Matuschek, who should?
Ladies and gentlemen, my good friends, we have just had our biggest day since 1929. You should be very proud, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. When I was in the hospital, I read your little note over and over. I'm glad to know you missed me and hoped I would come back home again. You're right. This is my home, and only too seldom one realizes that the people he works with are his real friends. Well, there's no Christmas without a bonus, am I right? Miss Baker will pass out your checks, and then I want you all to go home and have a very, very Merry Christmas.
Going home, Karen?
No, I've still got to wrap this wallet. Do you like it, Mr. Peters?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. Is this for that gentleman you told me about?
Mm-hmm. I'm meeting him tonight for the first time. Oh, isn't it exciting?
Oh, yes. I think it might be. Well, Merry Christmas, Karen, and I hope everything turns out just as you wanted.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, Mr. Peters.
Merry Christmas, Martin.
Merry Christmas to you, Peters. Well, Miss Smith, we're about ready to close.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be through here in a second.
Oh, that's all right. There's no hurry. Oh, present for somebody?
Mm-hmm. I followed your advice after all. It's the wallet.
Oh, it's fine. Oh, you want to see something? Here, look at this. I bought it for a special friend.
Oh, a locket.
Yeah, with stones in it. Right there, you see?
Wow, it's beautiful. Well, I didn't know you had a girlfriend.
But no?
No, I never even suspected.
I guess you think it's pretty funny that a girl would like someone like me.
No, Mr. Martin, don't. Let's start all over again. It's Christmas, and I'd like to be friends with you. And besides, you're wrong. Do you mind if I tell you something? When I started to work here, something very strange happened to me. I got psychologically mixed up.
Oh, you don't say.
Mm-hmm. I found myself looking at you again and again, and I just couldn't take my eyes off you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and all the time I was saying to myself, Karen Smith, what's the matter with you? This Martin's not a particularly attractive man.
Oh.
Well, I hope you don't mind.
Oh, no, not at all.
Now comes the paradox. I caught myself falling for you.
Well, I can't believe that.
Yeah, in those first few weeks, there were moments in the stockroom when you could have swept me off my feet.
Well, no, I'm sorry, but now I'm getting psychologically mixed up.
Well, you see, I was a different girl then. I was very naive. Well, that's all forgotten now. Now you go to your girlfriend and... By the way, is it serious?
Yes, very.
Well, we might both be engaged on Monday morning.
Yes, I think we will.
I don't want you to misunderstand. In my case, I say it just might happen.
Well, as a matter of fact, I can tell you it will happen.
How do you know?
Well, now I suppose I might as well tell you, I guess. He came to see me.
Who?
Your soon-to-be fiancé.
What?
Yes, came last night. You should have told him who I am. I spent a very uncomfortable hour, Miss Smith. You see, he didn't believe it when you wrote him. I meant nothing to you.
I don't understand, but coming to see you, it doesn't sound like a man at all.
Oh, well, you don't have to worry about it. I straightened everything out, and in a little while you'll be Mrs. Popkin.
Mrs. Popkin?
Yeah, that's his name, isn't it? That's what he told me.
Yes, Popkin, that's right.
You know,
Popkin?
He's such a nice fellow. I gotta congratulate you, Miss Smith.
Well, thank you. I think he's a very attractive man, don't you?
Sure. For his type, I would say yes.
Would you really classify him as a definite type?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, well, listen, don't you try to change him, all right? Don't you dare put him on a diet.
Would you call him fat?
No, I wouldn't, but that's a matter of opinion. Personally, I think a little stomach of his gives him a nice, homey quality, you know? And, well, that's what you want in a husband, isn't it?
Yes, that's what I want.
Yeah, I thought so, and you're right, too. And if I were a girl and I had to choose between a young good-for-nothing with lots of hair and a fine, solid, mature citizen, I think I'd take Matthias Popkin every single time.
Matthias? But Don't you think he has a fine mind? Didn't you impress you as being very witty?
Oh, well, he struck me as somewhat depressed. But that's unfair to judge a man when he's out of a job.
Out of a job? Why, he never told me.
He never told? Well, that just shows how sensitive he is. But you have nothing to worry about, Miss Smith. At least he feels you both can live very nicely on your salary.
Did you tell him how much I make?
Well, he's your fiancé, and he asked me.
Oh.
And let me tell you something else, Miss Smith. Mentioning that bonus didn't do you any harm either.
Oh, I can't believe it. I never dreamed he was materialistic. If you read his letters, oh, such ideals, such a lofty point of view. Oh, this is horrible.
Oh, I'm sorry you feel this way. I hate to think I spoiled your Christmas.
Oh, I built up such an illusion about him. I thought he was perfect.
And I had to be the one to destroy it.
Well, it's all right. I really ought to thank you.
Karen, if I had known in the beginning how you really felt about me, things would have been different. They would. We wouldn't have been fighting all the time like that. If we were fighting, it'd be over something other than handbags and suitcases. Something like, well, like should your grandmother come and live with us? Or not, you know.
It's very sweet of you to try to cheer me up like this. But I think we'd better say goodnight. You have an engagement, and so have I, and we shouldn't be late. Good night.
No, Karen, wait. Just give me a minute, all right? You want to know what I wish would happen? When your bell rings at 8:30 tonight and you open that door, instead of Matthias Popkin, I come in.
Please, you're only making it more difficult.
And I'd say to you, Karen, darling.
Please don't.
Dear sweetheart Karen, I can't stand it any longer. Please get your key, open box 237, and take me out of my envelope and just, for the love of God, just kiss me.
Mr. Martin, stop. You mustn't. What? What did you say? You...
Dear friend? Dear box 237?
You are dear friend.
Afraid so.
No,
Are you disappointed?
Well, psychologically, I'm very confused, but personally, I don't feel bad at all. You wrote all those wonderful letters.
Uh-huh.
You like me?
No, Karen. I love you.
Oh, that night. The time you came to the restaurant. Oh, God, I was terribly rude to you, wasn't I?
Oh, it wasn't that bad. It was almost nothing at all.
Oh, yes, I was. Don't you remember? I called you bow-legged.
Yes, I know. I wanted to prove that I was, and I was going to go out in the street and pull up my trouser legs just to prove it.
Well, would you mind very much if I asked you to pull them up now?
Oh, certainly not. Do you see?
Oh, my darling. Oh, darling. Oh, isn't it a wonderful Christmas after all?
Thank you for joining us for our production of The Shop Around the Corner, starring Marissa Wilson Fox as Karen, Malakai Fox as Martin, and John Bell as Peters. The part of Matuschek was played by Dave Gregory. Also included in this production were Lily Gordon as Joey, Sarah Adam as Lily, Lara Daboll as Miss Baker, Jeff Gordon as Harvey, Jessica Tutin, Jessy Davies, and Mary Keefe as the shoppers, Jen Gregory-Gordon as the bell ringer, Ron VanDerZwaag as the detective, Lily Wijnker as the waiter, Megan Chambers as Grandma, Taylor Adam as the officer, and Liv MacQueen as Mabel. Your director, editor, and host for this production was Mr. R.C. Scott. Join us again in April for Wuthering Heights, another installment from the Society of Radio Theater, a Playful Fox production.